Hey everyone, so I have this bet going on that somebody says I cannot last 10 minutes without seeing this movie. I mean, I've sat through plenty worse. Let's see. What's the movie? I think I lose. Hello everyone, welcome back to Kevin Reviews. And yes, I saw on streaming How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. This is a 2003 film by Paramount Pictures and is directed by Donald Petrie. And is written by Michele Alexander and Jeannie Long, the authors of the original book of the same name, and is also screenwriter Kristen Buckley. The cast includes Kate Hudson, Mathew McConaughey, Adam Goldberg, Kathryn Hahn, and Annie Parisse. So, um, I want to say I apologize for missing a review last week. I got stuff going on, some medical stuff. It's been a lot kind of harder now, and I want to do this really quick before I go into my review. Um, I am likely going to. It's my schedule's probably not going to be as consistent as it should be, or it's going to depend on how I feel. I mean, I'm already dealing with a lot after everything. If with my mom, but now I'm dealing with this medical issue that's kind of becoming a hindrance to what I'm doing for this channel. Not all the time, but sometimes I'm trying to get it work squared away, try to figure out how to take care of it. And when it comes to time I talk about, I will. Um, but at the moment, I'm going to try maybe going through this pretty quick because I think I can do this pretty short. Just do a short review on this particular movie. Because the thing is, I've seen this movie before during the 2020s. I had a DVD copy, but I don't have it anymore because I remember when I first saw this 2003 film, I could not stand it. And I'll go into a little bit later why I can't stand it, and I'm sure it's probably not going to be much any different. But all I knew about it at the time, it was a popular movie because it had heartthrobs Kate Hudson and Matthew McConaughey. Kate Hudson, you might remember, who was made famous by the film Almost Famous, and because of that, she starred in a movie with Matthew McConaughey, who Matthew McConaughey. I mean, he does like Amistad. Uh, later on he did Lincoln Lawyer, so a lot of movies, and he's even been in plenty of rom coms like Failure to Launch, Ghost of Girlfriend's Past. So he's been in quite a lot, and he's often known as a big heartthrob for especially to women. Um, as for me, yeah, I like Matthew McConaughey at times. I think I'm indifferent at some of them, but otherwise I like him fine. I don't I'm not have a crush on him, but yeah, otherwise I think he's fine. He's a good actor. Same for Kate Hudson, though I haven't seen too many of her films except Almost Famous and Raising Helen, and I know she's been in several other films, including she was in Kung Fu Panda 3 as a side character named Mei Mei. Um, that I remember seeing, but otherwise, yeah, I don't really have a lot of feelings towards this movie beforehand. It was a rom com. It definitely looked more like a chick flick, which didn't appeal to me as a guy. So I mean, that's why I've avoided this. And I was in high school, so yeah, it was out of the question for me. So I avoided this. I even remember it had really mediocre reviews, but yet a lot of audiences like it, and I'm assuming a lot of the audience are predominantly women. Makes sense in a way. Now, now before I actually saw the movie first, I didn't know its history because this is actually based on the book by Michele Alexander and Jeannie Long, who wrote the book How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, and it's quite different from the movie because the book is more about like a guide for women to um, what not to do to when with a guy on a date. So it's more of a guide. There's no plot. There's no story. It's just the things to do and do nots, basically. But then studios saw this and thought maybe this would be kind of funny to make a movie out of it and add a story and maybe have some fun and gain some bucks. And you got the heart. You got Kate Hudson and Matthew McConaughey. That's going to draw in big numbers. So I mean, it makes sense. You got two heartthrobs who are going to probably cause a quite a heart attack. Um, Not literally, but you know what I mean. And yeah, I mean, it sounds like it could have been a good idea, but yeah. Why don't I go into my review? This is my review of How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. So the story in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is we have Kate Hudson playing Andy Anderson, who is a magazine columnist for a women's magazine, similar to like Cosmopolitan. It's a little bit different though, and she basically writes how tos, basically how to. Well, I don't even know where to begin on how tos, but she basically focuses on subjects that's mostly predominantly for women. I guess maybe makeup or something like that, something that's more strictly for women. So, but she wants to do something more. She wants to write stuff about politics, religion. She wants to actually write important stuff. But unfortunately, she's not given that much of an opportunity. But then one day, her boss, decides to, find something new and interesting. And what Andy Anderson figures was doing a role reversal of how tos, basically, whereas it's supposed to help people, how to help people, it's how to not like help or help in terms of relationships. So she comes up with How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, which is inspired. She got that inspiration from a friend who recently got dumped by her boyfriend, and so the boss loved it. And so she has 10 days. She has to find a guy, and basically find ways to break him up before the 10 days are up. Um, and she eventually does. She finds Benjamin Barry, played by Matthew McConaughey, who is an advertising executive for multiple stuff, but mostly recently it's mostly something involving diamonds. Um, but yeah, he's not alone. Not alone in this because uh, much like Andy Anderson, he is taking a bet involving that he can seduce any other women and keep her and have her fall in love with him in the span of 10 days. So yes, so we have two people who are trying to accomplish a bet, and eventually they fall in love with each other by the end of the 10 days. That's it, and that's it. So you can probably tell by my tone is I did not care for this movie. I remember, like, I even hated this movie then. After rewatching it and after kind of gaining more knowledge on what this movie was based on, it's not quite as bad as I remembered, but it's still not very good. Again, I think it's just the premise. The premise alone is I mean, it's kind of interesting, but then the problem is that it is predictable. You know where it's going to go. And for something like a rom com that's predominantly more along the lines for a chick flick, it doesn't take enough risk. It doesn't go far beyond in terms of comedy. It doesn't really do much. I mean, I'm sure it's a lighthearted movie. You can just turn your brain off and you can enjoy it for what it is. Um, for one thing, I hate the characters. I hate the two main leads because people say they have great chemistry, but where is the chemistry? I mean, they're both trying to further their careers with a bet. So it's like, where are they? I mean, I'm sure I kind of bought the chemistry later on when they started actually having feelings for each other. But I mean, the rest of everything before that, it didn't. Because we know that they're doing this just to advance their career and to settle a bet. That's all they're doing. So I did not care what was going to happen. I didn't find these two likable at all, and I and yeah, both are kind of in a way that's despicable, just to kind of play with people's emotions just for that reason. I think even Andy Anderson does it a little bit worse. But Matthew McConaughey, I mean, Matthew McConaughey's hair, Benjamin Barry. I mean, yeah, he's just as can be equally as worse overall, because he's basically trying to keep the relationship going for 10 days so he can win the bet. So it's all this, tug of war basically. Who would win the bet overall? And no one wins. We know it's not going to turn out that way. They're going to fall in love because that's what most rom coms do, and especially in rom coms that involve chick flicks. Now, let me be frank. I am not an expert on chick flicks. I don't watch that many chick flicks. I have seen few, and there are some chick flicks that are really good that I think at least appeals to both male and female demographics. I mean, A League of Their Own, Princess Bride is another one. There's a lot. There's still plenty of good chick flicks. Those type of good chick flicks out there that are really good and really thought provoking, and a lot of effort and time was put into it, and that's admirable. This one doesn't do it for me. I didn't laugh once. I didn't think the comedy again doesn't go that far, and that's the thing. I wish, because this feels like it's trying to be a mean spirited movie for the sake of comedy, but also kind of to teach something about again, because this is an opposite, is based on what the material is. This is supposed to be showing what not to do. And that could have been interesting. They could have done that. Maybe even have a narration voiceover for both Andy Anderson and Benjamin Barry, to basically kind of get their own ideas and feelings, and maybe even teach something towards men, like what men should or should not do. Um, well, obviously not making the bet. That's one thing you shouldn't absolutely do. But it does predominantly favor towards the female demographic. So, and I wish they would push it much further. It's very simplistic. It's very, but not in a funny way. It's kind of, it's like sort of like teasing. There's moments where she actually tries to interrupt a poker game and messes that up and gives a nickname to his what down there. Um, grabs gets a dog that happens to pee everywhere. Um, those seem so small compared to what it could have been, maybe as a raunchy comedy. And maybe this is me speaking as a guy, because I think had it done, because it was trying to go for a mean spirited tone, but yet it still has that chick flick type tone. Like, it's still happy. It's still, you're supposed to laugh. It's kind of a good thing. It's supposed to be kind of funny how they're, messing with each other up in a way. So, but yeah, I wish it went further. I wish it really went towards more raunchy stuff, that I think could be funny. And and I've said this many times before, whenever I'm watching a comedy, since I'm watching this by myself, it's not as funny. So there's that. But yeah, had I seen this in 2003 and likely seen this with like I had a girlfriend then, maybe that would have been a different story. But right now, as of now, I don't think this film holds up entirely well. I can't even remember like the other characters. I mean, there's a couple recognizable faces, but they don't really offer that much. I mean, I think there's two women that I don't even remember their names. They're kind of forgettable, but they're kind of the ones who kind of stir the pot a bit, and happens to get them to hook Andy Anderson and Benjamin Barry up. But that's about it. Everyone else, they don't really stand out that much. They really play it too safe. And I don't, and for something about how to lose a guy in 10 days, I don't think this is the right way to do it in terms of playing it safe. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think for me, had it, plus, if I never knew about this movie beforehand, I almost would say just stay with like how to, like the title, how to, because it leaves something a little bit open about what's the how to, what's they're gonna do. and then maybe don't even reveal what her plan is, like what her plan was, how to lose a guy in 10 days. How well, and of course Benjamin Barry's bet, having a girl fall in love with him. I mean, that could have been interesting. It could have, we wouldn't know where it was going to go, or overall, but I think that would have been interesting. Um, Maybe I would even say, why don't they kind of get together at first before the bet, before the bet, especially for Andy Anderson's bet, because like say she's head over heels over Benjamin Barry, and yet but then she has this bet to basically help further her career, and I don't know, maybe eventually try to break up with her boyfriend just so she can have that career, which kind of makes her a bit more despicable. Or maybe have a route where she has to see another guy, and basically has to um, tell Benjamin Barry, or tell I don't know, either try to break up with Benjamin Barry, or actually tell Benjamin Barry, I need to hook up, I need to find somebody else to date for about 10 days, and let's see how that keeps going. That would have been probably interesting, I think. But I don't know. That maybe it won't work out. It's just my thought process on how I think this film could be better. But again, I'm trying to critique a movie that was made in 2003, and times change, dating norms has changed as far as I know, and for me who has never dated in my life, I wouldn't know everything. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm not the best judge when it comes to rom coms, or dating, or how everything works. But for this movie, it doesn't work for me. Is there anything good? There's one or two things. Like, as much as I said that Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson didn't have much chemistry in their characters, like in early on, because we know that they're just they're because their characters are trying to further their careers, they're trying to settle a bet and do all that. That at least that I didn't feel any chemistry to them. But as the film goes, it they do actually start having some chemistry, especially in the moment where Benjamin Barry, and Andy Anderson go to Benjamin's house, to see his family home, basically, and they play a game called BS, which I can't say the full title, but they play card game called BS, and that was kind of fun. I mean, it's a bit hokey, but otherwise, I kind of buy the family relationship a bit, and I think even Andy Anderson did enjoy, um, like her time being there. It's like her sense of belonging in a way, because and that's another thing. We don't really know a ton about Andy Anderson other than her job. We don't know much about her life story, like her background. We don't really know any of that. I know more about Benjamin Barry than I do Andy Anderson, really. So I mean, I think in a way they could have explored that a little bit more. But I don't. But for the most of like the 2 hour running time, it's more focused on the bets, and just making jokes that are often cringy. There's a moment where the liar reveal, and they start embarrassing each other on stage drunk, and they start singing a song, and it's painful. It is painful. It is more painful than funny. I i don't i don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get what's so funny about this film. I don't get why there's the 77% of audiences love this film. I don't get it. um but yeah, I this is not a film I this is not a film I think holds up entirely well. Had I saw that if I was a woman, if I saw this in 2003, if I had seen this with with a girl, then maybe I would have been fine with it overall. But otherwise, yeah, it didn't work for me. I would give this 1.5. I That's how bad it is. I mean, the authors, Michelle Alexander and Jeannie Long, actually do like it, so I mean, great for them. But I really wish, again, I've said this many times. I know I'm repeating myself. I do wish they push more boundaries, make it a bit more raunchy, really push certain actions a little bit more over the edge. rather than it's being so simplistic. I guess they wanted to make it more grounded in real life, but I don't know. I think it would have been fine. It had more of a mean spirited tone than a sappy kind of tone later, especially later on in the film or for the majority of the film. It just, I wish it did more. Um, that I could like it really. But yeah, what are your thoughts on How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days? Have you even read the book? What do you think of the book? Leave in the comments below. Give a like or dislike the review if you wish. Feel free to subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell to be updated on any more future reviews. Like I said earlier, I'm with all my stuff going on. It's not going to be as consistent. I'm probably going to miss maybe a week. It really depends on how I feel because I have a lot going on that I can't go into right now because it's really personal. But maybe down the road when I feel like I can, I'm up to talking about it. I will, but not right now. I'll do the best I can to get reviews out in time, but just bear with me. I bear with me because I'm going through a lot of stuff that is pretty painful. Um, that I hope eventually will get better because 2026 is not a good year for me. So hopefully when we get 2027 it'll be better. I don't know, but yeah. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next review.